Hi, this is Jonathan Tiersten from the Perfect House and Sleepaway Camp, and you are listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Hey, Real Nerds listeners, your favorite host Ryan here to remind you that social media is great. How great is it? There's many ways you can find the Real Nerds on social media. You can download us on iTunes. You can listen to us streaming on Stitcher Radio. You can call us 720-6nerds5. Aw man, our website is so cool. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You want to leave some fan mail? Oh, that's so easy, realnerds@gmail.com. Twitter? We got it, @real_nerds. You can even like us on Facebook. Thank you so much, and hey, enjoy the show.
Podcast bold enough to record inside a village inn. I am your temporary host, Zach Eastman. That's right, I'm back. Ryan decided to neglect his hosting duties, so I decided that we could have the show coincide with my scheduled coffee time. So I brought along with me, as always, is...
Hey, it's me, Brad.
Hey, Brad, welcome back.
I bet that's another voice you didn't expect to hear. So, yeah, you're getting like a different set of real nerds this week.
Yeah, it's the more since we're recording inside a village inn, it's kind of hard to not want to do the welcome to NPR real nerds.
I know.
We're here.
I feel like everyone can hear us.
And if they are, then they're just going to think like we're big celebrities. Like, why are they interviewing each other over there? It's a game.
This might be the gay section. We're pretty isolated, but we're still within like everyone's view.
Yeah,
we have these red mics, and I'm sure we're drawing a lot of attention.
Yeah, but don't worry, we'll make sure that the man in the fisherman's hat is the only person we have to worry about here at the Village Inn. Because if you upset the man with the fisher's hat on, then you're screwed.
I don't get that reference.
There's no reference.
Oh.
It's just common knowledge throughout any diner. You mess with the man with the fisherman's hat on, we got a problem.
Alrighty.
We'll need a duck. So we'll just make sure not to offend that guy. Truckers, I don't care. Let's go ahead and make fun of them all night.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Well, what do we do on Real Nerds? We don't make fun of truckers. We go see a movie each week. This week we saw Samurai Cop 2.
That's right.
Was it the most amazing thing that has ever been seen by human eyes? I think we're going to find out later on in the show. We also review what we've been watching this week. We go over box office numbers, and we talk a lot about movie news and
Blu-ray releases.
Blu-ray releases. There we go. So we have a lot of things to tackle, and I think we're going to start off with movie news this week. So, have you seen Spectre?
Yeah, I was actually going to save that for my...
for your, what
I've been watching, because I missed last week's show.
Okay, well, there's been, Christoph Waltz has said he would want to return to the role of,
Blofeld.
Blofeld, yeah, let's just say it, it's Blofeld. we reviewed it last week on the show.
Stavros Blofeld.
It's Blofeld. Welcome, James. His quote is directly as saying, "It depends on the story. It depends on the story. We need to jump ahead. We don't need to jump ahead. Let's round out this one off first, and let's see if it makes sense. It needs to make sense. If it doesn't, you don't see, you get what we see mostly." I can't do a straightforward Christoph Waltz impression. His voice is just so damn charming.
You had all that time to rehearse.
Yeah, I know, and I fucking
blew
failed. I know. What are you gonna do, man? You get what you get with
for
me.
Yeah. So that's cool. I'd like to see him back, and I'll talk, I guess, later in the show about why I wouldn't mind him coming back, even though everyone else seems to have panned that movie.
Yeah, well, let's see. We'll see how it plays out. I like Spectre. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either.
Yeah.
Like, as far as like if we're gonna compare Skyfall to Spectre, they're on different levels completely.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. Let's see here. it's official. The Golden Globes are classifying The Martian as a comedy. What do you make of that?
Yeah, all those pratfalls that Matt Damon did definitely deserve it.
My favorite part was when Jeff Daniels threw a pie in the middle of the NASA control station. It was a very unexpected performance, to be sure.
And they did like those little stick figure drawings to like get the signal to NASA.
Yeah, and he's just like, if I and the whole point of it was, if I think it, wish it, want it, I will it. You know, like, so there was a good-hearted message at the end of that really sweet comedy.
Exactly.
No, I don't think this is right at all. But
there was that part when he was like isolated in his Mars station and he jerked off and the splooge went in his hair.
Oh gosh.
And got stuck.
That is an instant comedy classic moment. You remember the one part where he's driving along with Dom DeLuise in his car and his lunar rover, and then suddenly they just run into Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin as dressed as priests, and all things went on chaotically. You know, like it was way better than Cannonball 1. So, you know, I gotta give them up for it. I guess they're getting the right
comedy makes sense.
They might be getting the right classification for it. I don't know. As you can tell, we're being very sarcastic. This is
I'm not surprised though. Like, there's that one year The Tourist was like
a comedy
listed as best comedy.
That didn't
Johnny
make
Depp, Angelina Jolie. You've probably forgotten it, so let me describe it for you. Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie, globetrotting as jewel thieves. I don't know. No one saw it.
I love Johnny Depp, but I didn't see it either. So, anyway, that's what that is. Not a lot on the news front, really. Amazon's head of programming has described their new strategy for how they're going to release the new Woody Allen movie or miniseries and the Spike Lee miniseries, or not miniseries. Spike Lee's doing a movie for them called Chirac. But basically, he described the platform deal and how it's going to work out. Roy Price has said that these new programs will be driven to coordinate globally, and he has expanded his area of oversight beyond original content production and licensing and acquisitions, according to Variety. The reason it is helpful is to coordinate licensed activities and original activities so they are serving the same ends. So basically, like, the whole point is to try to spread this out as wide as possible, which for Woody Allen stuff can totally work. I don't know if Chirac is going to be the widest audience possible, but it could get one of those notices that some films get for worldwide attention. Have you seen the trailer for Chirac?
No.
I know not all you guys are big Spike Lee fans, but I think this is a return to form for him.
Okay.
If we're going to be completely honest here.
Yeah, I've never seen his acclaimed stuff and all of the... I think the only thing I have seen is Old Boy and Inside Man, so not good barometers for...
If you're going to watch anything, watch Do the Right Thing. That's or Malcolm X. Those are his two best ones. And then the last piece of news really is that Tracy Morgan, who is thankfully returned to the media and to public appearances after his terrible crash, is going to be playing Red Fox in the Lee Daniels Richard Pryor biopic, which, if you've watched Sanford and Son before, you know who Red Fox is. It actually makes perfect sense in terms of casting. Like, I know you don't normally do casting news, but I thought this was pretty interesting, seeing how it's Tracy Kent back out there and stuff like that.
So it's a Richard Pryor biopic, so he's just a side character?
Yeah, so he'll be just a side character, but it's still pretty good casting, and the script is being done by Bill Condon and Danny Strong. Bill Condon, of course, did Gods and Monsters, and Danny Strong did The Butler, and Lee Daniels did Lee Daniels The Butler. And Lee Daniels did Lee Daniels, did Lee Daniels, did Lee Daniels, did Lee Daniels.
Did Lee Daniels?
Did Lee Daniels do it all day. So that's the news.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks, Zach.
Not a problem.
If you're still tuning into us, we're going to move on to Blu-rays.
DVD releases and Blu-rays? Right on.
Let's do it.
The encoded information on this disc is read by a laser beam. That means that the picture and sound quality must be far superior to videotape reproduction.
Not a lot this week. Just kidding. There's a ton of editions of The Hobbit. Let's see. The Battle of Fire, that's the extended editions because the regular ones already came out, but you have a lot of choices to choose from. You can get the extended edition Blu-ray. There's a 3D version with the figurine that you can get. It looks like Gandalf and Bilbo like sitting together.
Oh,
chatting.
from that final shot in the film, yeah.
Yeah. Then you can get the entire trilogy extended edition Blu-ray, and then there's a 3D version of the entire trilogy. Probably it looks like the same box as the Lord of the Rings extended Blu-ray, and then there's a non-3D version with the figurine of Gandalf and Bilbo. So
got a lot of ways to get your Middle Earth on.
Yeah, you're covered. There's plenty of cool ways to keep it on your shelf. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is coming out on Blu-ray this week. I enjoyed that movie. Zach, did you see it?
I haven't seen it, but from what James told me, it was a combination of like old James Bond movies and also kind of made fun of him at the same time.
Yeah,
like a sleeker type of.
It was really witty. I'd give it that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I like Guy Ritchie, and I like Sherlock Holmes and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, so I'll definitely check it out at some point. Wasn't a big fan of Snatch, but...
You know what's crazy is obviously Henry Cavill's Superman, but what's his name here? The other guy. The Lone Ranger.
Oh. Armie Hammer?
Armie Hammer. He was rumored to be up for Batman at one point before Christian Bale.
Or Christian Bale.
I think during the Christian Bale days, yeah.
So this was the early casting rumors.
Yeah.
This is pre-Batfleck.
And so it's funny that they kind of ended up like
kind of
potential Batman against the Superman cat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like it's the Batman v Superman that almost was.
Yeah.
But will never be because we get Batfleck, guys, and it's going to be amazing.
That's
Just
right.
Watch.
I think I told Ryan this. No one ever seems to mention that Ben Affleck is like the one actor who's played both Superman and Batman. Like no one's done that, and that's like if there's anyone else, people would be making a big deal out of it because it's Ben Affleck. They're kind of keeping it on the down low.
We should explain for the audience at home. There was a movie back in 2006 called Hollywoodland, directed by Alan Bell, who essentially it's about the death of George Reeves, who played Superman on the Adventures of Superman television show that ran in the 50s. And Ben Affleck plays George Reeves, and you do see him in the Superman tights.
Yep.
And oddly enough, it doesn't look too far off from the tights that we get in the new Man of Steel either, except for the underwear. They always had to go with the underwear in that one, which I'm glad they kind of got rid of, to be honest. But
I forget in the movie they had the suit was just gray and dark gray because most of that show was in black and white, right?
Yeah. They would film it for that. Sometimes they would film that way. But more often than not, they would just color code it correctly so that certain colors would stand out for the black and white. But they ended up shooting in color
about this season or something.
About like halfway through their run, they started shooting in color. So, but most TVs at that point like didn't even have like the color component on them. So, if you were lucky enough to see it in color, you saw it in color first run. Otherwise, you were seeing it afterwards.
If you're a Hayao Miyazaki fan, Studio Ghibli, the collected works of him are on Blu-ray. So let me look here. I know you're getting Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, but it also has, I think, The Wind Rises there. It's all pixelated, so I'm trying to... you got Howl's Moving Castle, you got Ponyo. It's too low res. I'm going to guess Castle in the Sky. It's probably in there. Tales of Earthsea, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 disc set. It's really beautiful. It's got an art book. It comes in a big white box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 movies. 8,
Sweet.
9, 10. Yeah. Really beautiful collector set there if you're a Japanese animation fan. Or even a story. Pixar's always said they got a lot of their inspiration from how to tell stories from Miyazaki.
From Miyazaki's camp, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're a Pixar fan, you'll probably enjoy that too. There's another edition of Iron Man 3 coming out, re-release.
There's also the Apu trilogy on the Criterion.
See that, yeah.
Yeah, that's good for all of our alt cinema fans out there, like Steve Bissett.
All right. All of our cinema snobs.
He said, "Hey, remember
Criterion's-
what he said at that show? There's no such thing as bad cinema."
I didn't say it's bad. I said
No, it's good.
the cinema like if it was Ryan was here, he'd call us cinema snobs.
snobs.
Speaking of Criterion, there's In Cold Blood. Truman Capote's In Cold Blood has a Criterion edition.
Oh, that's the first movie version of that particular. It was like an award-worthy one.
Yeah.
That came out.
I'm guessing Scream Factory. Yeah, it's Scream Factory. They're giving us Troll and Troll 2 on one Blu-ray. So
Well,
a dual set.
One is much more.
They're not the same.
Yeah, one's more special than the other one is.
It's a franchise, but it's not. Like,
yeah, it's
Troll 2 is not a sequel.
Troll 2 is
It's only a name.
Troll 2 is a special child and must be taken care of at several intervals throughout the day.
And if you want to know what we're talking about, just go watch a movie called Best Worst Movie. It'll explain everything.
The dentist in that movie is one of my favorite characters in a movie of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, by far. I love how enthusiastic he gets about it. At the end of the day, he just wants to be a dentist.
Let's see. I think that's it. I mean, there's a lot of concert Blu-rays and documentary stuff. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Still going. FDR American Badass has a Blu-ray.
Oh, finally, the Blu-ray of FDR American Badass. There was one up there that I wanted to see.
Ticked Off Trannies with Knives.
TikTok trees.
That's one. That's the one you wanted to see. Selma? I thought that was already out. There must be like non-special features Blu-rays listed in here. I guess there's a DVD extended edition set of the Hobbit trilogy. So if you haven't made the switch to Blu-ray yet, you're still covered. The Stanford Prison Experiment.
Ah,
That's
the
like one of
best
your favorite
movie of
movies.
the year.
Yeah,
The best movie of the year.
it looks like a DVD release.
They'll probably get it on Blu-ray eventually.
We Are Your Friends as a DVD release, which
If you haven't heard of what we've been working on lately, we've been working on something called Raveheart. And all my inspiration for writing the initial script for it came from the trailer for We Are Your Friends. And the trailer for Braveheart, of course, because that's what it needed to be there. But you have to admit, like, when we visually did that trailer, like, we were making fun of the way they dressed in that movie
oh yeah,
extensively.
rave culture's funny.
Yeah, rave culture's funny, hipster culture's funny.
Yeah.
We make fun of everybody. There's no discrimination. Like,
Gotta do South
everybody's
Park style. Everyone's got a target on their back. Yeah, that's it. You said you saw.
I thought I saw something.
Sorry, was there a Boardwalk Empire
Go
thing I
back up
missed?
there really quickly.
No, I'm just kidding.
I guess it's whatever.
Yeah. You go, as always, you can go to digitalbits.com, look at the list yourself in case there's anything that we missed that you wish we'd said, whatever.
There might be some Warner Archive DVDs or Blu-rays that you can check out there. I'm promoting those guys now because Warner Archive is giving me all my favorite 40s and 50s films in nice collector's editions to have. Like, no real special features or anything, but honestly, for these particular films, unless Roger Ebert was still alive to do a commentary on them, you know, I wouldn't need anything like that. So anyway,
I'm impressed they're even like doing Blu-ray editions of the archive stuff. Like, I did not expect them to do that. So there's a segment that we usually start the show out with that I totally spaced.
oh yeah, what's playing at the Alamo?
Hello.
Hi, I'm Kevin Smith.
Hi, I'm Leonard Maltin.
Hi, I'm Mark Hamill.
Hi, I'm Elijah Wood.
This is Seth Rogen.
I'm Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
I'm Ron Starr.
Welcome to the Alamo Draft House.
Last time I saw you, I played it cool. Now someone's been
I'm telling you right up front.
Burn off your cell phone.
Don't talk.
Don't text.
Don't build a birdhouse. Don't be a Foley artist.
Quit asking your girlfriend what she had on her salad.
Okay, is it your living room?
You talk or text during this film, I will punch you.
You can find out who they are and then go cut their tongue out.
Have a good watch. Bye. All right, I've said what you want me to say. Will you release me now?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Zach. Starting on Monday, Draft House Films presents Dangerous Men. Do you know about Dangerous Men?
I have no idea what Dangerous Men is, but knowing that it's a Draft House Selects film means that I will definitely want to check it out.
It looks like some film probably from the 70s or 80s that they have, I guess, restored.
They've done that before with picks like Scorsese's done critical acclaim of these Australian films that they've re-released as well.
Yeah, it looks like an action film, kind of maybe in the vein of Samurai Cop, but
probably a little bit more prestigious.
Yeah. So there's that. Alamo recommends that highly. Ghost in the Shell, there's a new movie.
Is it the one that's called Ghost in the Shell, the new movie?
The new movie, yeah. Which is really direct. It's the new movie. And it looks like the animation, like art from the TV show that they had like on Adult Swim and stuff. But I don't know. There's no description for it, so
okay.
It's just the new movie, so I might check that out. I don't know. Let's see. There's the Roger Waters' The Wall.
All in all, we must go see that brick in the wall.
So if you're a Pink Floyd fan, check that out. So that's Monday. Tuesday, you got another chance to see Dangerous Men. There's a Feast of Gangs of New York. Scorsese film from the early aughts. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, is playing from 1974.
At 9:45, and it looks like it's going to be an interesting screening. Have you watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I have not seen the original.
It is... I mean, I like the remake enough, but that original one is so visceral. Like, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's really good. There's also a Mockingjay double feature for all you Hunger Games fans out there for what's coming up next week. They're
on
gonna
Friday?
do they're going to do a...
yeah, I'm going day by day.
Oh, no, it's on Wednesday.
Oh, it is on Wednesday. Look at that.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, okay. Well, what's... Mockingjay is one of the one we haven't seen yet, so what's the other one?
Mockingjay Part 2.
Oh, so you get to... Oh, so this comes out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. And then there's Science Friction, which is showing Naked Lunch. Have you seen Naked Lunch?
I haven't seen it, but all my reference is from The Simpsons, where... oh my God, it's been so long. The bully. Nelson. They go to the movie theater, and like the kids are skipping class, and they go see Naked Lunch, and they leave, and they say, "I can think of two things wrong with that title." So they're so disappointed that they saw an art film instead of what they. Yeah.
Word of advice: if you are like Nelson Muntz, do not go see Naked Lunch.
This is the '90s, so kids were still probably getting their movie titles from newspapers.
You remember the joke where they're like, "We're going to go see an R-rated movie. It's called Bart and Fink." And then on Thursday.
Which Dangerous Men, I guess, is playing all through the week, so we'll just stop repeating that.
And Mile High Sci-Fi is showing The Last Starfighter.
If you're not familiar with Mile High Sci-Fi, that's where it's like Mystery Science Theater, but with Denver comedians.
And if you're not familiar with The Last Starfighter, get the fuck out of my face.
So that's Thursday's schedule, and Friday is just all this weekend is just going to be the end of the Hunger Games, finally.
Yeah, the end of an era.
Yeah.
The end of Donald Sutherland playing...
Actually, since our thing kind of runs into Sunday, like we won't get to the next schedule until Monday, so afternoon tea on Sunday is Anna
Karenina.
Karenina, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like the 2012 version, and Mondo X Chiller, which I kind of want to do because they they give out cool swag for Friday the 13th, which is Ryan and I's kind of horror movie. Which I was always so disappointed that hockey face Jason wasn't in it, but it's still a good movie.
But it has
spoiler alert.
It has two great things about it. It has the old man with the warning, "It's got to death, cuz."
And doomed.
Doomed. And it also has Betsy Palmer's, the late Betsy Palmer from this year, her amazing award-worthy performance, if we're talking about Fangoria, the award-worthy performance as Mrs. Voorhees.
His name is Jason, and today is his birthday.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
Actually, I'm going to go and say it just because it's like on Monday, so it's not that far off either. Hot Fuzz is a free screening.
At 10 p.m.
So IFC presents Hot Fuzz, the Edgar Wright blood and ice cream middle movie classic.
If you haven't seen Hot Fuzz, again, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah. If you think Bad Boys is silly as much as I do,
then you're gonna
you'll
love Hot Fuzz.
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Edgar Wright. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And that's pretty much it.
That's
for
the Alamo for next week. So
yeah.
What's
All
next,
right.
Zach?
Let's do box office.
Okay, so please tell me that my $100 million prediction for Spectre was correct.
You were close. 70 million.
That was 30 million off.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan was spot on.
Yeah, 70 million for Spectre, followed by 44 million for Peanuts, followed by 9 million for The Martian. And then everything else just kind of trails off into the 6 millions. So for this coming weekend, it's Mockingjay.
Is there anything else competing with it?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody's stupid enough to do that.
If I was running a studio, I wouldn't.
Well, we can just ask 20th Century Fox when they tried to predict Alvin and the Chipmunks road trip up against The Force Awakens. And Bridge of Spies also took fourth place with 5 million.
There actually is quite a bit coming out against Mockingjay. A lot limited release Legend with Tom Hardy playing 2 roles I want to see, but
yeah,
it's only in 4 theaters, so I'll probably miss that for a little while. But yeah, it's the Hunger Games. So I'm gonna guess 100 and I'll go 120.
I'm only gonna go 130, not to be a dick, but I just think it'll make more than 120 because it is the last one, and it always seems like the last one always seems to make the most chunk of change.
Okay.
For the most part, like Harry Potter did that kind of
right,
where it made like over $1 billion for the final installment. So,
cool. I'm gonna revise my choice. I'm gonna go 180.
180.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to do that Price is Right where it's just like 780, 781.
What you said 131. That's my revision. Suck it, Zach.
All right, so
no,
that was
180.
That was box office. Oh, and I think Spectre will fall off like 50%.
Oh yeah, that's how it works these days.
Yeah. So, moving on, I guess we would talk about what we watched this week.
Are either one of these any good? Sir?
What?
Are either one of these any good?
I don't watch movies.
Brad, what did you watch this week?
Well, this week is kind of a mishmash. I don't know. I'm kind of lost because I haven't been around a lot, and I just kind of sporadically watch things. So I'm just going to, like, pull whatever I think of first. I watched some Gotham.
Okay. How do you
Season
like Gotham
2.
so far?
I've embraced the fact that it's a little... it's a lot silly. It's not the hardcore detective show that I was hoping for, but it can't be because it's on Fox. It's on network TV, so that's not going to happen. But it's still entertaining, and I'm sticking with it. It's just, I have to... Not that I'm a stickler for the comics, but they have made changes to a lot of the mythology to suit their needs. So, but it works in the context of the show, so that's fine. I don't mind. It's always interesting to see, an old property and have people tweak it a little bit, like
give it the new twist and kick that they think it deserves.
Which, when you're doing a prequel saga, basically we already know where everyone comes from if you read the comic book, so there's no surprises. But the fact that they're, Gordon's wife is... In this series, they make her like a murderer. So
wow.
Yeah, and
Spoiler alert.
Instead of ending up with her, he's kind of dating Leslie Tompkins, the Doctor, in the Batman lore.
So they're changing up some relationships, trying to keep it as fresh as possible.
And that makes me think that maybe there's some villains that should survive to meet Batman that maybe won't make it through Gotham. Because the Penguin keeps getting away with, like...
Oh, that Penguin.
Yeah, and it seems like they're setting up the Court of Owls storyline, so...
How well did they do the Penguin on it? Because I haven't watched a lick of this show.
Oh, he's great. And actually, like he got a lot of screen time, and like the first season was really about his rise to power, and now
does he go quack 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 quack?
No, he has like a limp, a bum leg, and like he has no like Burgess Meredith quacking thing. It's just like, but he's very like neurotic, and like he has a short fuse, so like he will just snap and like murder people on a whim if they piss him off enough. So no, it's a very, I think it's a very cool take on the Penguin.
Okay.
It's one of the highlights of the show because there's not a lot to play with yet. They're still building, and then the Riddler, he's like in this season he's finally getting more attention because he's finally, in the first season he's more of just a straightforward crime scene investigator, forensics evidence guy, and now he's finally like having schizophrenic episodes, so he's finally changing into the Riddler. So
is he called Edward Nygma on the show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome.
I know it's weird, like sometimes in the comics he was Eddie Nash, and never quite, I don't know if they've ever really explained that.
They never settled on who he really is.
Yeah. I think it was Eddie Nash, but like in the 90s when they were doing Batman Forever and stuff, and the animated series, I think someone came up with Enigma, and it was like a cooler name for that character than
it is a cooler name for that character.
But I think in the 40s and 50s or whatever, I think he started as Eddie Nash,
which is a typical 40s name, really.
Yeah.
What's your name? Eddie Nash. Good to meet you, Mr. Nash. We'll promote you to the president of the company.
And then maybe I'll say this for when Ryan's here, but I saw the first episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead.
I saw the first episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead as well on my what we watched list.
Oh, okay. We'll say that to the end then, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I rewatched. So Jean-Claude Van Damme's Dan Van had its 1-year anniversary of its premiere
Give it up.
Tuesday.
Snapping the fingers.
Yeah, little mini claps. So that night I had to watch something Van Damme, and I pulled out Sudden Death, which just came out on Blu-ray.
Oh, nice. The hockey one?
That's where he fights. It's kind of the biggest inspiration of that movie.
It's the prequel to 24, really, when you think about it.
Yeah. It's even got Powers Booth.
Yeah. How does it still hold up from when you last saw it? Because I was on one of the episodes when you reviewed it the first time.
It's still just delightful 90s ridiculousness. I mean, I was reading IMDb like trivia, and I watched the movie. I didn't even notice that Powers Booth's character name doesn't even show up in the movie. Like he's just terrorist, you know. No one ever calls him by his name. He's just like the bad guy, and there's like terrible dialogue in it. And I mean, apparently, according to the trivia, it was written as a comedy by someone who was part of a hockey franchise, and so they sent the script to Hollywood. Hollywood butchered it, turned it into this, made it a serious action thing, and
made it an instant classic.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a parody of hockey. I guess through the perspective of a guy who worked there. So that's why he fights the Pittsburgh Penguins mascot and kills him in a dishwasher.
Nice.
So, yeah. So it's fun. It's I think I might do like a commentary on it because there's just like some ridiculous things to pick out. Like early on in the movie when the terrorists are trying to like infiltrate the stadium, they stop these two employees.
And remind me again, is he a firefighter or is he a policeman?
He's a firefighter, and I think I got it wrong last time I talked about it. The movie starts out like there's a fire, and he's already trapped under debris in the fire, and he's holding a little girl in his arms, and she's still alive, and then he's like yelling for his firefighter buddies to come pull him out. And just before those guys get to him, the roof collapses on him. And in a kind of comical way, like just a light dusting of debris falls on him, and then like the dust sweeps away, and the little girl is just staring up with her eyes open.
Oh God!
And he thinks she's still alive, and then she doesn't respond, and it's kind of, I mean, obviously narratively it's terrible, but the way it executed on screen, it just looked kind of silly.
It's way too convenient for
just the kid's expression and everything. It just doesn't like, and it didn't seem like anything could have killed her, you know, other than like he crushed her under his own weight. Because he's like laying on the ground, so he's got her under his arms, and I'm guessing that he just kind of like just crushed her. Like when the debris fell on him, like he just kind of turtled up and then
I'm trying to remember
squished her.
I'm trying to remember it, but yeah, this is.
So yeah, he's traumatized by it, and then stops being a firefighter and becomes a security for, which like he's security, but he also ends up doing like maintenance jobs for the stadium, so like changing light bulbs and things. So which his kids are like embarrassed about. Yeah,
sweet.
So yeah, Van Damme, fun, silly. The helicopter. Powers Booth tries to escape in a helicopter at the end, and Van Damme messes with the controls, and then it falls through the stadium ceiling onto the ice, and it's so slow. And it's clearly like a miniature. It's pretty funny. And they're like looking at each other, like Powers Booth is screaming out the window, and Van Damme's laying on the ceiling of the stadium looking back at him as Powers Booth is just screaming as he goes down at like 2 miles an hour. Like he could have jumped out like before the helicopter hit the ice and probably survived.
Yeah, but instead he just chooses
that kind
to
of
go.
time.
He has to go out like the '90s villain, which is just like Hans Gruber can't try to grab onto another part of the building.
It's just this prolonged death scene. And at one point his daughter falls, like he kidnaps his daughter and takes her up to the scaffolding, and she falls through a trap door in the ceiling, and she's hanging there. And Van Damme, instead of like running to get his daughter, he just continues to fight Powers Booth, and the girl crawls up back up to the ledge herself under her own power.
You can take care of yourself.
Yeah. So yeah, and then because I saw Spectre last week and didn't get to talk about it, I also watched Skyfall. I haven't seen it in a while, so I want to just like remember, was it as good as I remembered? And it's a good movie still, but it's not without its convenience and ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Not as much as Spectre, but there's still like that was really easy for Silva to do or Bond to get to. But Spectre, I enjoyed. I think it's a very good like greatest hits homage to all the Roger Moore movies.
Yeah, kind of.
Like there's so many little nods. I don't know if you've watched all. I think I've watched 24 of the 25.
I've watched 15 or 16 of them.
Yeah.
Most of them have been the Connery ones, and then I've watched scattered ones. Like I've seen the 2 Timothy Dalton ones. Yeah, I can see that. Like Spectre kind of felt like there was definitely an homage to the Connery era with Blofeld, and then even the Roger Moore era with Blofeld.
Even the Lazenby one, the fact that Bond drives away with the girl, that's when Bond got married.
It's pure out of on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Yeah.
Mrs. Bond.
Welcome, James.
Yeah, but so there's a little nods to that, like, and then like the whole ski sequence is, I think, it might be Moonraker.
Which one?
It's on Her Majesty's Secret Service too. Like the whole snow.
The skiing one.
Yeah, the headquarters up in the ski mountain, whatever. Like, I think that's the Telly Savalas Blofeld.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's that homage. Like that whole sequence is kind of a reboot of that, and then
the base felt like a desert version of the island in Dr. No.
Okay, yeah.
For me, at least, like it. Felt
I thought it was
like
more the volcano from You Only Live Twice, but
that too. Yeah, that too. Like
it's in a crater.
It felt like a natural Bond compound. Like everything from like you must get dressed in these special clothes in order to attend the dinner with the, like it almost felt like a greatest hits of Austin Powers too. Now that I think about it, where just like everything that Austin Powers points out is here in this movie. It's been about 20 years. People have kind of forgotten where these movies came from initially.
Yeah, there's a whole Simpsons episode with Scorpio that's kind of based on all these tropes.
Scorpio.
Too. So it's come full circle that now Bond is kind of.
You remember which country that Homer wanted to bomb, right? Italy or France?
France.
Nobody ever says Italy.
But yeah, so now Bond is trying to make those jokes serious, but I think it's unfortunate because I feel like it's a step backward, because that's the whole the whole setup from Casino Royale on is to make Bond a more modern day hero.
He's more of an assassin than a spy.
Yeah, like hard-nosed assassin, and they're just with this movie they're just kind of forming him back into that suave, ladies' man type spy when he doesn't need to be. Like the movie even says, spies are obsolete in this when we have like all this surveillance stuff.
Yeah.
So they should have just made him more of a brute. And
or they should have just completely thrown the thing back into the 1960s and done it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it should have been Man from U.N.C.L.E., according to you.
Or James, yeah.
Or James, yeah. James
else?
is the one who's like...
Yeah, just like kind of silly things. Like the fight on the train is brutal, but after they get Hinks off the train, and Bond has taken a ton of brutal hits in that fight. When he's sitting with Madeline and driving to the compound, no bruises on his face. Completely fine. And then, of course, that, she starts out being a strong character, but after that fight, they're like, what do you want to do next? And they end up, like, getting it on.
Yeah, that was very From Russia with Love.
Yeah, it was so just like, it was like an Austin Powers thing.
Yeah.
So after this great, like, fight sequence, and then the car chase, there was a point where I was sitting there going, like, are we still doing this? Like, I didn't see any new inventive shots. Like, it's just more of, like, turning corners. I almost felt like I was watching Jean-Claude Van Damme's Dan Van's car chase, where it's just like, we turn another corner, we turn another corner.
You should be thankful Sam Mendes is now taking advice from Brad Haig, guys.
Yeah.
He's just like, look, I know we've done all the best car chases in the world. What if we surprise them with one of the worst?
Yeah. And they have that fun, like, insert with, like, the bystander trying to drive and he gets pushed into his spot. But
yeah.
Overall, there's just some point I was sitting there going, like, wow.
I did like the ejector seat, though.
Yeah.
I always like the ejector seat bit because I'm just like, that's classic Bond right there. I don't know. I'm torn because I get what you're saying on how they want to reboot it and how it needs to be rebooted into this more dangerous killer type aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, one of the reasons I love Skyfall is because they were able to meld in the elements of classic Bond in there, like bringing in a male M and bringing in Moneypenny and doing all these things. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's so cool.
That's the thing is, when, like in Skyfall, I felt like when they didn't introduce M and Q, or Moneypenny and Q, they didn't feel like updates of what we'd already seen before. They felt like fresh characters.
Mm-hmm.
But something about this one, it seems like all those things like gadgets and stuff were all still, like in Skyfall, they had the thing where he gives Bond the gun. It's like, well, it's just a gun. The only special thing is it reads your fingerprint. But in this one, he gives it a watch to him, but the watch is actually a bomb. So it's still like a little crazy far-fetched. And it's not even like set up and then paid off right. Like I thought it was just to watch the whole movie, and suddenly, out of necessity, it's a bomb for that scene.
So they don't even do the.
Did I miss something? Did you like?
I don't remember him being like, and then this watch will give you.
Yeah, he just says
like
it tells
bomb.
the time.
Yeah, tells the time.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, like.
But maybe that was like a riddle from Q. Like this new Q gives riddles or something.
I guess I don't know. And I will say that first sequence in Mexico City, walking around is pretty sweet. A little obvious at screen, and the helicopter chase is a little bit like the car chase, where it kind of like dips back and forth a little too much. Could have been shorter, but still pretty amazing that it's all mostly one shot. Pretty creative, and also like I think the music at that point, if I'm remembering correctly.
It wasn't the best opening Bond song, but it was...
Oh, no, not the... I was talking about the music while he's walking around in Mexico City.
Okay.
There was like some music cue that I thought was... But I might be thinking of a different movie now I think about it. But anyway, the Bond song isn't that great, but I thought the octopus graphics were pretty...
The Spectre, the Spectre logo. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So, I think it's getting like really harsh criticism, but again, I'd agree it's like a step back, and totally worth a watch. I'll probably watch it again. And then Christoph Waltz is great in it. I hope we get...
Did you really think I was that great in it, Brad?
And actually, shout out to myself calling it that I predicted he was
Blofeld
related to. Well, Blofeld. I don't think anyone didn't think he was going to be Blofeld, but
am I the only one who didn't think he was Blofeld until the very end?
You might be. But I think on the podcast you guys said that in Skyfall there was no allusion to
him being
Blofeld.
a brother. Not that I can remember.
Well, I rewatched Skyfall. I'm pretty sure, when he goes to Skyfall, there's a photo that Bond looks at that has it's the same photo, but there's a thumbprint or something over or part of the photo is missing. That photo has been seen before. It wasn't just the inspector, so they were setting that up ahead of time.
Okay, I don't remember it. I'll have to watch it again.
Which I remember seeing Skyfall and being like, ooh, who's that person that they're not showing in the photograph, and it doesn't come into play in Skyfall. And then this one I was like, oh, that's probably because obviously it's in Skyfall, he's related to Bond, and we'll probably... Yeah, and then when they showed it in the Spectre trailer, I was like, oh, okay, Blofeld's going to be related to Bond, which is No, that just reminded me of the whole finale where Madeline Swan's I don't even know how Bond finds her. It was so convenient that she was in the room right next to that blown out
Bond logic.
Yeah. So, and he totally should have shot Blofeld. There's no reason for him to
Yeah, that would have been a nice back to one from Casino Royale.
Yeah,
because this seemed like the end of his.
He's been hunting all these guys down for the longest time from that movie. Yes, please. So yeah, Spectre.
Awesome.
I think it's good. It's not a travesty.
Okay.
It's only the third best of the four, but.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I would do Casino Royale, Skyfall, Spectre, Quantum of Solace.
Okay, so Quantum of Solace still the worst.
Yeah, it's really just filler. Much like Mockingjay.
Yeah.
Zach, what did you watch?
What did I watch? Well, I didn't watch Spectre again, but I did like Spectre. I still maintain it's a decent Bond movie for what it is. I watched a lot of riff tracks, and I don't think there's anything better in this world than watching the Twilight riff tracks when you are very, very low in your life. If you're having a depressing day, just watch that and realize that there are much worse things out there. One of the best gags in it is they're doing pauses, because I watched all four of them in a row. Or all four of the Twilight.
Are there five?
5 of them. Sorry, yeah, 5 of the Twilight riff tracks.
Zach, what's wrong with you?
I was feeling sad that day, and
I don't think I've seen any. No, I saw New Moon. Damn it.
But I watched them all with the riff tracks, and there's a great bit where they're doing pauses, and Mike Nelson just goes trying. It's not that damn hard. They do all the classic tropes of ladies and stuff like that. It's classic MST3K, which leads me to my second thing. I watched a lot of MST3K reruns.
Nice.
The best episode still being Santa Claus, the Mexican Santa Claus episode, because there's a great bit where letters are pouring onto Santa, and Tom Servo just goes, "There's $1 in every one. My chain letter scam worked." That, along with. There's a scene where there's it's this Mexican Santa movie about Santa versus the devil, and they're fighting for the soul of this little Mexican girl. But at the beginning they show a small world kind of United Nations of children and different things, and he's playing a pipe organ to it, and they keep going into different countries, and it gets more offensive and more offensive down the line. It's just really funny. And then
speaking of MST3, we probably should have done this in news, but speaking of MST3K, we didn't talk about their Kickstarter campaign.
That's right. If you go to MST3K...
Hashtag bring back MST3K.
Yeah, hashtag bring back MST3K. They're trying to bring back the show for 12 new episodes.
Well, minimum 3.
Minimum 3.
And they need $2 million to do it.
So if you can go on to MST3K and make a donation, help them reach their goal. I want new episodes. I've been wanting this bad for a while.
If they get to 5.5 million, they'll do the 12 episodes. So I'm going to try and, if you talk, I'm going to try and find out what they're up to, because last time I checked, they were at 1.5 million. So
Okay.
looks like we're probably going to get at least 3.
So Ryan loaned me the Looney Tunes Golden Collection, and I'm trying to write a couple of different films right now, and Looney Tunes has something to do with something that I'm trying to write. Not directly for any copyright intensive purposes. I'm not trying to do that. But I decided to watch the Looney Tunes Golden Collection, Volumes 1 and 2, and they restored, like, it's still on DVD, so it's not a full Blu-ray transfer, but those cartoons never looked better than in these collections. Did we find the update?
Yeah. Sorry, I was blowing a hair off my phone. Yeah, they're up to 1.7 million.
Okay, so at least we're getting 3 new episodes.
28 days to go.
Yep. So anyway, those cartoons haven't looked better than they do on those Golden Collections. And I have to imagine they've done a Blu-ray of it at some point. But there's cartoons like You Ought to Be in Pictures, which is a black and white one with Leon Schlesinger, the head of the old Schlesinger Studios that produced the Looney Tunes, in the film itself, and it's live action and animation, and the transfer is beautiful on DVD alone. So if they've done it on Blu-ray, I have to imagine it looks even more stunning. Sadly, all I was able to get was the DVDs, because Ryan hasn't upgraded that one yet, apparently.
I actually don't think they have those cartoons on Blu-ray yet.
Okay, then never mind, Ryan. I'm sorry. Please don't kill me. No, but they all looked good. My favorite one is still Duck Tracy, where Daffy Duck's pretending to be Dick Tracy. And, like, he does stuff like, he'll look at the different villains, and they're all... Bob Clampett was this amazing artist for Looney Tunes who did very surrealist kind of drawings. And Frank Darabont says this in one of the behind-the-scenes featurettes. If you freeze frame a Bob Clampett cartoon, he morphs the characters into the mold that they're supposed to be for movement. So each frame is essentially moving around like an anamorphic blob. It's not dun 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 dun. It's if I had to describe it in
those are
sound
technical
effects.
terms.
Yes, these are technical terms
For the animators in the house.
It's more fluid than normal animation at that time was outside of the Disney studio. So he does this thing where he does these sketches of these Dick Tracy villains in their literal sense, like Flat Top, Pussycat Puss, 88 Teeth, Hammerhead, Neon Noodle, and Neon Noodle's just a neon sign, and when Daffy Duck rearranges it, he rearranges it to a sign that says Eat a Joe's. Like, I love the Looney Tunes. I love them so much. It's one of the reasons why I was able to forgive Looney Tunes Back in Action so much, because I'm just like, we got more Looney Tunes. Anywho, that's all I watched this week.
Sweet.
Cool. Yeah. So this week we saw Samurai Cop 2.
And now, our feature presentation.
Well, I guess we're on our main thing. Yeah, we saw, 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
It was a double feature, but the new one is the second one.
So, Brad, should people go see Samurai Cop 2 and 1?
Okay, so 1 you should definitely check out at home, probably with friends. If you saw it by yourself, it probably wouldn't be as funny. It's fun to watch with a crowd, like The Room. And 2, you probably shouldn't watch unless you're a fan of the first one. Because if you just watch 2 with no frame of reference, you will just think it's garbage.
I don't think people should see Samurai Cop 2.
Even if they like 1?
Even if you liked 1, it might ruin the experience for you. It's like if they made a Room 2, where I'd be like, but I know you're not taking this seriously.
Oh my God, Zach, we should make The Room 2.
The Room 2. Oh my God, let's get Greg Sestero to be in it. I'll play Tommy.
It'll just be like 30 minutes of cameos.
Yeah. That's pretty much what this movie was well, anyway, here's a trailer for Samurai Cop 2.
We knew this day would come. He has returned. He is our Antichrist, and he must be defeated.
the love is one continuous stream, which is never ends.
Ralph Garman in that movie.
Wow, where did
How
he come
did that
from?
happen?
That was funny. So Samurai Cop 2 is a continuation of, if you haven't seen the first one, I think it takes place in Los Angeles, California, as evidenced by that street sign that said Los Angeles on it and not a street name.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Where there's warring Yakuza gangs, and Joe Marshall is the samurai cop who's been called in from San Diego.
Who looks like Mel Gibson stepped into a weird blender.
Yes. He and his buddy are basically Merton Riggs. Well, low-rent Merton Riggs.
Rent-a-cop version of Merton Riggs.
So Joe Marshall gets called in to work with his buddy, who is quite oftenly racistly pointed out that he's black. In some weird
black
gags.
Gift.
Yeah. To track down the Yakuza gangs, and periodically Joe Marshall will stop and be invited to have sex with any women in the movie. And they eventually track down the Yakuza boss, and they fight. And then the Yakuza boss has one henchman played by Robert Zadar, who recently passed away.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen any kind of 80s movies...
Maniac Cop.
He's the guy with the weird chin. The big face. Which I heard it's an actual thing called cherubism.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he and his buddy tracked down the Yakuza.
Yeah, they tracked down the Yakuza. The second one, though, I want to describe it now. Cause
go and describe 2.
2 is a bunch of different warring gangs trying to, for some reason...
Some of them from the future.
Some of them from the future, some of them from the past, some of them from the present. Tommy Wiseau is in neither one or the other or the third. He's in a whole different plane of existence.
He is his own existence in
Yeah,
this movie.
can we talk about Tommy for a second? Like, that was just the weirdest... That's the best acting he's ever done. But that is also the weirdest character in the movie. And I'm talking about a movie full of weird characters here. Like, Bai Ling's in the movie. And she's always entertaining.
I haven't seen her in anything else. But I'm pretty sure the director was like, well, we didn't write any of Tommy's lines. So, Tommy, just say whatever comes to mind.
Tommy.
Don't stop. Just roll with it.
Blood red, Joe.
Yeah.
Blood red. But basically, like, Joe Marshall has to come back.
He's been a recluse because they set up early in the movie that shortly after the events of the first movie, he gets married to that one girl, and then she's murdered right in front of Joe, like a couple days, weeks later.
By the guy who turns out to be Tommy
Wiseau's
Wiseau's
character. Yeah.
I saw this girl. I had to kill her.
Never explained why, when he was that young, that he was... I was expecting that it would come back around and he was ordered to do it, but no. He just randomly decides to kill his wife.
Just like Samurai Cop 1, there's a lot of story elements that are missing because it just feels like an incomplete movie.
Yeah.
So,
and this movie also feels like... obviously, in the credits, it was directed by a couple different people. But it definitely feels like it started off strong, and by the end, they were kind of stretching their budget.
Yeah.
Like trying to get as much as they could done as well as they could, and just didn't hit the finish line.
Right.
So it's a big mess by the end as they try to...
I'd give it, like, in terms of a bad movie, it's fun to watch, but, like, I don't... Like, spoiler alert, I don't drink anymore. But
this made you want to.
This kind of made me want to go out and drink.
Uh-oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, not in a bad way. Like, I felt like the only way I could enjoy that film was if I was incredibly inebriated, and since I don't do that anymore, it's just kind of like, well, I have no real desire to see this. But if you like to go out drinking and having fun, then you'll love the hell out of this.
Yeah,
movie.
I'd say the only reason you would watch 2 is if you saw the first one like as a double feature.
Yeah,
right before it.
And, yeah, if you really like that first one, then yes, watch this one because everything pretty much comes back to reference itself. Whether it's
Yeah, and the other thing about it, too, is like I was saying, it kind of changes halfway through. The second half is more of like a cameo fest where they try to fit everyone from the first movie back in some capacity. Like, even villains are suddenly good guys that are helping
the guy
Joe
who
Marshall.
lost his arm in the first one.
Exactly, yeah.
He's just like, I'd give you a hand, but...
Yes.
Yes.
And then the one Asian guy that he kills in the first movie, like he has the big kung fu fight with.
Yeah, that was a really awkward cameo.
He's just a spirit.
Yeah.
Who's
kind of like, why?
on Joe's side for some reason.
Yeah, so yeah, Samurai Cop 2, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. We also forgot to tell the story of the reason Samurai Cop 2 even exists is because it's born of a Kickstarter campaign.
Right, which you donated to.
Which I donated to, so I'll be getting a Blu-ray copy of it, pristine, best version of the movie eventually. But yeah, someone was a big enough fan of the first one to encourage all those people to come back and do it, and I'd say good effort. I mean, obviously it's not a great watch.
There's no such thing as a bad movie, but there are such things as movies that you don't need to watch.
I applaud that they tried.
Yeah.
It was a good effort, and it was cool that they were able to get as many people back as they did. But yeah, I guess it would have benefited from, like, I don't want to say money was always the solution to these things, but I felt like I don't know how they spent their money, but I wish I could remember how much they actually did get. But maybe if they had like another $2 million or something, they could have had a decent ending.
Yeah, gone all out.
Yeah, and even though they kind of set it up that there might be actually a third one.
Oh yeah,
they left it open.
With one of the henchmen is revealed to be like, "You haven't seen the last of me, Samurai Cop." And
yeah.
So yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Interesting episode from the Village Inn. Our checks have arrived, and
they're here for a while.
Yeah, I was trying to make it seem like we did it over the course of a meal, but you ruined the illusion.
I always ruin things. That's what I do.
What are you guys seeing next week? Probably The Hunger Games.
Yeah, which I wouldn't, but I've seen all the others, so I might as well wrap it up. I'm not a fan, Zach.
I know, and I'm not going to be able to convince you. I can only say that I find them more entertaining than I initially did. Like, I've learned to love them over time. So
I thought the second one was better than the first one, and then it just went back down again for me. But
yeah, maybe the new one will rise up.
We'll see. Maybe they'll finally do something smart.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, until next week.
Until next week. Bye.
Suck my balls, Ryan.
Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find them on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.